Welcome to I Am the Cute One, the most chaotic school dance in the podcast universe.
Let's spike the punch, grind to usher, and talk about our favorite topic, ourselves.
Hello, I am Donnie and I am the cute one.
And I'm Chelsea and I am the cute one.
And today we are covering Whatever Happened to Baby Jane to round out spooky season.
My first time watching it, and take a deep breath, Donnie. I loved it.
Oh, good. I was nervous.
I think this might make the list for best movies of 2025.
Wow.
You've been on a roll lately of the movies that you've picked that you think I'm going to like.
Well, I'm so glad. Did you, as a little companion, I think it's like 10 episodes, as a little companion piece, did you watch Feud by Ryan Murphy?
Much like most of Ryan Murphy's shows, I watched like the first 2 episodes and then that was it. I liked when they were all friends and we were seeing the dynamics there, but once the addiction took place and all of that, then I lost interest.
Of Betty and Joan?
Oh, I must be thinking of the Swan one.
Oh, yes. So season 2 of Feud was Swans. That wasn't good. Season 1 is about them, about Betty and Joan filming this, and about how they hated each other their whole career and how Hollywood brought them together for this because they knew that the behind-the-scenes drama would be publicity and that people would go see it. It's so good.
I didn't know any of that, so maybe that will be my companion piece.
Yeah, it's really good. Because then a lot of what I know about this movie is from that. Then I've researched to see if it was real, because, you know, Ryan Murphy could be pulling it out of his wazoo. But, like, the scene when Betty Davis has to pull Joan Crawford across the floor, Joan Crawford, like, wore weighted stuff and would cough on purpose so that they would have to do the scene over and over.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like the opposite energy of the Sister Act movie where What's-Her-Buns was doing like push-ups to run in and be frazzled. And then Professor McGonagall was like, why don't you just try to act?
Yeah.
Like, that was helpful energy. But meanwhile, this person was like, no, I'm going to make you out of breath, bitch.
I know. And Betty Davis really kicked her during that scene by the phone. Like, they hated each other.
Oh, that makes it even better.
I know. Now I want to watch it again.
So I do want to acknowledge we are rounding out spooky season. We have not seen nary a costume in sight. We will be in costume for this Friday's TGIF, which is taking place on Halloween. We just kind of dropped the ball, cuties. And then there was a Patreon cutie who was asking us to dress up as Baby Jane and Blanche for this recording. And we looked into it. We were looking into, could we pull this off for the TGIF episode where we knew we were dressing up? And to be honest, cuties, Donnie and I decided that we just couldn't do it justice from the neck up. We need a wheelchair. We need time to really like invest in the pieces. And so if and when we have a live show or like a Halloween live show, I do think that would be an iconic couples costume for us.
I agree. And I will challenge you, Chelsea. I don't think we dropped the ball this Halloween season. Last year, the movies we covered, like Addams Family, I forget what else, but like they were ones. Yes, they were ones that really led to a costume. The ones this year really didn't. And I didn't want to be covering Innocent Blood while being dressed as like Barbie and Ken. Like I wanted it to be on theme with the movie, but to be on theme with the movie, it wouldn't have been a costume.
Right. Kim Kardashian didn't come out with that bush underwear until we had already covered Innocent Blood. Had I gotten my hands on that bush thong, the sky would have been the limit. Bonjour, children. Now, this being said, I know that we have been spending the entirety of our time together on I Am the Cute One talking about a live show. We need to have a live show one day when we have a live show. But this came to me, Donnie, and I want to like say it out loud so that the cuties can hold us accountable. Okay. Because I do think there are people out there who would come to a live show if we had one. I think we should do our first live show in June because we'll be coming off the heels of Big Brother 40. Lord knows you're going to be like a bride after her wedding day. The crash, I'm worried about. The post Big Brother crash of like, what do you plan for? What do you even live for anymore? Imagine then you can start helping me plan our live show for June, which also, and this is crazy to say out loud, we launched our podcast on June 13th, which is the Olsen twins' birthday, 2021. So this June, we could have our first live show as our 5-year anniversary special.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's a great idea.
There. You were worried about me not liking this movie because it was in black and white. Call me Mr. Big, but I actually really like black and white movies.
Oh, okay. I don't mind movies being in black and white, but I do feel like in the olden days, the pacing of movies was weird. I say I don't like black and white movies, but I don't like the pacing and style of a movie. But if you took an old movie and put it in color, it wouldn't make me like it any more or any less.
I actually end up liking it less when it's colorized because I can't focus because I'm just like, this looks strange. But yeah, the pacing is crazy and the music is so loud. Like, that's what I noticed. It's like whenever I edit our reels together and I send it to you and you're like, can you turn the music down? I feel like I'm at a rock concert. But that's how I feel like with black and white movies because the music is just part of the experience, but it's sometimes louder than the people talking. But then as I was thinking about black and white movies, I was thinking about what other ones we could cover because I do love like To Kill a Mockingbird. I love It's a Wonderful Life. But then I was thinking at the end of last episode, you taught me about the fact that this is a hagsploitation film. So then, as I was loving this movie, I was Googling hagsploitation films, and I found a list. First of all, do you know the other name for hagsploitation?
No.
Psycho-biddy movies.
Oh, okay.
Which I think that's fun. That's very fun. But some of my favorite movies were on there. M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit is considered a hagsploitation film. The Substance was a recent hagsploitation film. And then one I've never seen, but that you consistently talk about, The Skeleton Key was on there.
Caroline.
So I do want more of this genre. I was eating it up with a spoon.
Oh, well, now I'm mad that spooky season's over. We could have covered The Skeleton Key.
Next year.
Okay, yeah.
Or any other time this year, really.
Well, not this year, but in 2026. Because now we're fucking Thanksgiving and Christmasing.
All right.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Caroline. This movie came out October 31st, 1962. So I'm not going to give you a lot of information about that day. None of us were born, probably. But Monster Mash was the #1 song on Halloween. How cute. If today's episode makes you laugh or scream or do the mash, do us a favor and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. A 5-star review is the easiest way to help us grow our audience and this community. And now on Spotify, we started putting video versions of the episodes, so you can watch our videos there. It's also the video on YouTube of Monday and Friday episodes. If you're on Patreon, you still get the unedited video there, but if you want the edited video, it's now on Spotify or YouTube. So you can watch or hear us whenever you'd like. This movie was written by Lukas Heller and was based on the novel by Henry Farrell. Lukas Heller also wrote Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte, which was supposed to be the follow-up to this movie, not about the same characters. This movie did so well that it was supposed to be Joan Crawford and Bette Davis again in another hagsploitation film, but Bette Davis worked against Joan Crawford, so she got her recast, even though she signed on to it. Drama. It was directed by Robert Aldrich, who also directed Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte, and it made $9 million worldwide and only cost $1 million to make. Wow. So it really scooped it in. It won the Oscar for Best Costume Design, but Bette Davis was nominated for Best Leading Actress, as well as a Best Sound nomination, which you'll disagree with, and Best Cinematography nomination. And then Roger Ebert put it on his greatest movies of all time list and gave it a perfect score, saying, "The impact of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane was considerable in 1962. Today's audiences, perhaps not familiar with the stars, don't fully realize how thoroughly Crawford, and especially Davis, trashed their screen images with the coaching of Robert Aldrich. Imagine two contemporary great beauties, Julia Roberts and Cate Blanchett, say, as aged crones." Huh. Some taglines, Chelsea. But first, I want to give you mine. And I'm really proud of this one. Okay. Picture this. You watch the trailer, and then at the end it says, "Whatever happened to Baby Jane, you'll have a really good time."
Oh, Donnie. Oh, brother. Okay, mine is, "The show must go on."
Oh, I like that. Yours is what would be used. Mine is more fun.
Mine's thinking with its brain, and yours is thinking with our hearts.
That's beautiful. Here are the real ones. Too late, too late, too late to call for help.
Did Rumpelstiltskin come up with that one? What?
Here's another one. Sister, sister, oh so fair, why is there blood all over your hair?
I love that one, but I hate the execution because that's too many syllables. Sister, sister, oh so fair, why is there blood all in your hair?
I like that better.
Yeah.
And here's the third one. You'd better be shock-proof before you dare find out.
What?
people were really, because then there was like a 5-part tagline. I didn't even include Chelsea, but there was a 5-part tagline where like they were selling the fact that this had a twist. They were like 5 things you need to know before seeing whatever happened to Baby Jane. 1, this is unlike any movie they've ever done before. 2, you better make sure you're in the movie theater by the time it starts. You won't want to miss the beginning. 3, you'll never see the twist coming. 4, if you do see the twist coming, we don't know how. Like that. It was crazy.
They did like a BuzzFeed article as a tagline. Also, we've talked about it many, many times on this show, and then we've done the very thing we've talked about, but I hate the announcement of a twist.
Me too.
I think that was part of M. Night Shyamalan's original downfall was when people started anticipating the twist, because then they came out of The Village saying, well, we knew it was coming. I didn't. I love The Village.
I love The Village, one of his best works. And then M. Night Shyamalan, when you're known for a twist, the lack of a twist really upsets people. Don't get me started on Trap.
Well, okay. Yeah, he paints himself into a corner because he is damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. And then that makes him have to go balls to the wall and do Old, which is the only movie on the list of the M. Night Shyamalan classics that I can't stand because that was too much. We didn't need that. We didn't need a child pregnancy. I'll just say that.
Okay, you know, that's usually a good rule. This movie was originally going to be shot in color, but Bette Davis pushed back against it, saying it would make a sad story look pretty. Also, I don't know if you knew this, the daughter who lives next door, like the daughter of the neighbor, is Bette Davis's real daughter.
Oh, cute. Nepotism.
Yeah, and in Feud, she's played by Kiernan Shipka.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah. Chelsea, I want to know, what character, if any, do you identify as?
I do think if we're looking at the two sisters, I am Blanche.
Well, there's other people.
I know, but I have a feeling who you are, so I want to stay the course. I am Blanche. Because I am also evil. I am also conniving. I am also self-serving. But I'm also worried about you, dear sister. When will you get that sleep study test? When will you wear that sleep apnea machine?
Well, I don't know why you're pointing fingers at me, because I said I'm Edwin Flagg. No, just kidding. I am Jane. And we will get into details later, because just from conception, we knew, oh, Donnie's Jane, obviously. Even when we were talking about what costumes we were going to wear.
Not a doubt in my mind that I would be the one wheeled out at the live show.
There was no question about it. Which, spiritually, that time when you played my mom at the murder mystery, in my head, you were in a wheelchair. And, like, I know that's not true, but, like, doesn't it click that you were?
No, I think that I felt like I was in a wheelchair. Also because when we posed together, I was sitting in a chair and you were posed behind me. But, like, I have never felt more connected to you and more like our true selves were expressed than that murder mystery dinner where I played your abusive mother and you were, like, a floozy slut. When you whipped off that wig and you were just wearing those big glasses and then you became Gypsy Rose, I also felt a kindred spirit there.
Now see, if you would have had a wheelchair as a prop, I could have used it.
Do you remember I slapped you?
I don't remember.
We got so in character that at one point you did something and I just went pop. And it wasn't like a pretend stage slap. I slapped you across the face and you said, Mother!
See, that's improv, baby. So it was obviously from conception that I was Jane. But then as I watched the movie, and any time she did something that was like very much me, which is a lot, she does a lot that is very much me, I didn't like to admit it.
It is the part of you that when I saw Quinn do stand up and he had the part about being married to Willy Wonka, that Willy Wonka analogy covers it. But this actually, the Baby Jane-ness of it, I feel like is actually more true to form because Willy Wonka doesn't twirl in a dress. You know?
I think the punchline was better, Willy Wonka, but a slut. But I think, like, if he were to just truly speak from the heart, it would be Baby Jane, but a slut. Chelsea, we're going to give you 1 minute on the clock to tell us about this movie.
Sure. As someone who grew up with a brother, I've always treated sisters the way Steve Irwin should have felt about stingrays. I admire them from afar and knew better than to fuck with them. I will never go toe-to-toe with a girl who grew up with a sister because anything I say to her, she's already heard before 8 a.m. on a Wednesday when she was 12 years old and her sister accused her of taking her new shirt. That being said, this movie is a documentary and a cautionary tale about sister dynamics in which two washed-up hags systematically try to ruin each other's lives for 110 straight minutes before calling a truce and eating ice cream together.
I wish all movies were like that.
Like what you're hearing? Head to patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne for more.
There you can find uncut, unedited, and unhinged video and audio footage of current episodes.
That's patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne. See you there.
It's 1917, and baby Jane Hudson is the Beyoncé of the vaudeville circuit. But instead of getting information, she's writing a letter to Daddy, the aforementioned Daddy being her manager and on-stage pianist. And good news, for $3.25, you can buy your own life-size baby Jane porcelain doll, which was terrifying to look at.
If Matt Rife was alive in 1917, you better bet your ass he'd be buying it and bringing it into his home for no reason.
As no fan base wants to admit, there's no such thing as a good rich person. And although Jane's daddy tries to hide her evil side from her fans, facts are facts, and Jane is a bitch. And while Daddy and Jane spend their free time terrorizing Jane's not famous older sister, Blanche, Blanche makes a promise to her mother that she won't treat them the way they treat her. And Chelsea, I know Jane is a little cunt, but I would act the same way about ice cream.
Well, especially if you're the one bringing in the big bucks. I earned this ice cream, Daddy.
I always think that about child stars. You let me do with my money what I want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's inherently what's wrong with the idea of a child star is that you're like thrusting them into adulthood. Even if they enjoy their craft, even if they love acting, you're making them work. So then, yeah, who are you to then say like, oh, here's your allowance? I earned that money.
Yeah, I don't care if you have a house. I want ice cream.
It all comes back to ice cream for you.
It's 1935, and karma is a bitch. Jane can't catch a break because nobody wants to see little girls dressed as doll babies singing about daddies anymore. And even if they did, Sid, you are no doll baby. Remember that from Scream when he says, and your mom, Sid, was no Sharon Stone. Jane turns to booze, 6 cases of scotch to be exact, while Blanche is thriving as a legitimate Hollywood actress. And since she made that promise to her mother 18 years ago, she treats Jane kindly, putting it in her contract that she won't do movies unless her sister gets work too. And the clips from Jane and Blanche's old movies were really clips from their old movies. And I love when movies do this.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same, I feel, like when they use real childhood photos of actors in movies. Like when you see a panning shot of like a gallery wall and there's little Julia Roberts and there's little Emma Stone. And you're like, those were real photos. I can tell that's not AI.
I feel like you just wrote this for me. Speaking of Julia Roberts and Emma Stone, I saw the new Julia Roberts movie yesterday in theaters. I liked it. I think I need to see it again. It was the only time I've ever fallen asleep in the movie theater, but not because the movie was bad. I was just tired.
Yeah, because you need to wear a fucking sleep apnea machine.
Well, I have that new thing now, Chelsea. We're making moves. I was so tired. I've never been this tired to fall asleep during a movie before, but it was hoodie weather yesterday, so I wore a hoodie. So then it was just so comfortable, and it was a recliner, which I don't have one in my house. It was so comfortable and so dark that I just fell asleep in the movie, and I woke myself up with my snoring, but luckily I woke up during a scene where Julia Roberts' husband was snoring. So then I felt like people just got an immersive experience.
Yeah, they were just like, wow, this surround sound is so realistic.
Yeah. So I fell asleep during it. But then there was a preview for the new Emma Stone, and that's why we're here, Chelsea. You talked about both. There was a preview for the new Emma Stone movie. And at first, I was thrilled. Emma Stone is playing like this high-powered businesswoman. She's like balls to the wall, telling people how they should feel about themselves, like being just a D word to everybody. And I was like, oh, I love this. Emma Stone's in good movies again. The last movie I liked from her was like Crazy Stupid Love or Easy A, whichever one came after. And then since then, she's been doing really weird shit that I just can't support. And then we get to the twist where she's kidnapped. They shave her head and say, oh, you're an alien and your hair is your receptacle or whatever to speak to your leader, so we shaved your head. And I was like, why can't this bitch just do a good movie anymore?
Oh, see, and once again, completely opposite experiences. I saw that preview recently, and as soon as we got to the Alien movie, I was like, oh, I'm all in, because my favorite type of movie is the conspiracy theorist crazy, or is the conspiracy theorist right? Mall World, which, speaking of Mall World, really quick, I have sad news about Mall World. It has fallen prey to capitalism, because the original content creator that I shouted out and that I was giving flowers for bringing light to our collective Mall World experience, she's now selling Mall World merch. And I think back to that other TikTok account I said, which said she's doing evil and she's spreading the word of Mall World. We're all going to get trapped in that net. So I'm not buying that Mall World merch, I got to tell you. Did you see the preview for the new, and I can't remember who the main actress was, but here we are, 38 minutes in. And
Chelsea, we're 38 minutes in, and the next paragraph I'm about to read is still before the credits.
I'm going to make this quick, but I need to say this. I can't remember who the lead actress is, but there's a new rom-com coming out, and I do love the lead actress. I just can't remember who it is. But it's a woman who's trapped between two universes and has like two different love interests.
You're disgusting,
I'm so
first
excited.
of all.
No, I think you're going to like it. It's rom-com.
I know. She's not. Everything you said about that is making me angry. First of all, it's Elizabeth Olsen.
Oh, I love her. I saw her in a bathroom when I was pregnant.
You did. And her sisters are the catalyst of this whole podcast, but it is what it is. We're here now. I'm here to educate you. Second, she's not trapped between two universes. She goes to heaven because she's dead, and her two love interests are there. One was her first husband from like the 60s or whatever, and then when he died as an old man, she fell in love afterwards, and now both husbands are there, but they're young selves.
I love that.
Nothing is a different universe, but God bless you.
I'm sorry. I would argue that heaven is a different interdimensional plane, a different universe, if you will. I would also argue that if heaven is real, perhaps she can just be the lover in a polyamorous relationship. Why must we be confined to monogamy in the afterlife?
Well, that's where I hope we get to. If this movie ends with her choosing herself, Chelsea, I will never support this actress again.
I would support you not supporting her if that's the ending. Yeah, but it goes back to the thing at the end of Titanic of, can you imagine being old-ass Rose's husband that she built a life with, and then in the afterlife, there's Jack waiting on that sunken ship.
Pissed me off.
Poor guy.
Anyway, after a big Hollywood party, the sisters are in a mysterious car accident that is unofficially blamed on Jane, who is found 3 days later in a drunken stupor that cuts Blanche's career short when she is paralyzed from the waist down. And now we're taken to the credits. In 1962, the sisters are living together in a mansion that Blanche purchased, and since Blanche is in a wheelchair and the house doesn't have an elevator, she's stuck upstairs at all times, spending her days watching marathons of her old movies and waiting on Jane to take care of her. But as television stations play more and more marathon of Blanche's movies, reviving her fan base, Jane gets resentful and jealous, and her bedside manner becomes worse, attacking her sister's career, letting her pet bird get away, and worst of all, calling her an idiot. And Chelsea, I got you in trouble this week, and there was even audio evidence to prove it. We were talking about people as we do, and then you said, da-da-da-da, stupid idiot. And then I heard in the background, what?
Yeah, I was sending Donnie a voice note, and then I said, ugh, stupid idiots. Coco from the other room called me out and then proceeded to have a conversation with me about how that is very unkind. I should not say that. If I had said I hated this person, it would have been the trifecta of slurs in my home. Stupid, idiot, and hate. The three bugaboos, those are the unmentionables. Those are the unforgivable curses. We do not say those things. Meanwhile, when I watched Casper with the girls, I knew that when What's-Her-Buns dies, she comes back and says, the bitch is back. And I didn't try to fast forward, mute anything, because I knew no reaction. They have no reaction to actual cursing. But after school, Coco gave me another talking to. She said, I've been thinking about it, and I really am disappointed that you called someone a stupid idiot. And I wanted to say, but Coco, if you had seen this person, you would have agreed.
You should have said, you're right, she was an ignorant cunt.
She would have been like, okay. Now, Blanche being stuck at the top of the stairs. This is the start of my victim blaming portion of this recap, Donnie. Because, number one, we're setting ourselves up for failure. We're in a wheelchair. This is a 2-story house. Why'd we pick the top floor?
Well, I don't think she did.
I feel like she could have wanted this more. This isn't a Mrs. Applebottom Jean situation on Desperate Housewives where her son is mentally incapacitated and straight up locked in a cellar.
Right.
When she got to the top of the stairs, there was a moment that I was like, oh, she's going to throw herself down them. Like she's going to roll back that wheelchair and then zoot forward and just launch herself to the bottom floor. I feel like there are many, many moments in this film where just a little bit more chutzpah could have gotten her a little bit farther.
I would agree with you. I'm going to victim blame either way, because if she let her sister pick her room and put her upstairs, then like you said, you can't go outside ever. You have truly put yourself in the Big Brother house with this. And it's a iron window. Like, your window is a prison bar. So that's number one. Number two, though, on the opposite side of that coin, if Jane is the one that picked where she's going, then why would she do that to herself? Because now every time you need to bring her food, which is 3 times a day, you need to walk up and down those stairs.
Yeah, with a tray.
Yeah, give her that side room behind the stairs that you keep going into.
Put a bed in the kitchen and say, make your own food, bitch.
Right. Jane runs out of alcohol, and when she calls the liquor store for a new order, she's told that Blanche has cut her off. So she uses the talent we're told she doesn't have to do her best Blanche impression over the phone and get the banishment uplifted. And we haven't heard phone acting this good since teaching Mrs. Tingle.
It was marvelous.
It was marvelous.
Very reminiscent of me, day one of school, forging my mom's signature on initial paperwork so that I can just continue to forge it the rest of the year. Because if you set the precedent, then you never have to actually have your parents sign anything because you just did it the first time and that's the signature.
That is brilliant.
Thank you.
I've never heard of anything that good. Their housekeeper, Elvira, overhears this and tells Blanche to keep an eye out on Jane. She's drunker than ever, has been hiding Blanche's fan mail from her, and writing down dirty words. And first of all, I want to know what she wrote, because Elvira's like, I've never even seen words like that written down.
It was stupid idiot.
My favorite part of Jodie Sweetin's memoir is when she talks about how she used to get mad at Candace Cameron and write bad words about her on the walls of the set. But the Olsen twins were like 3 years old, and then Kimmy Gibbler was like too old to be doing it too. So everyone knew it was her.
I love that.
I know.
That's so funny. When I used to want to get Dylan in trouble, I used to write his name on the wall. So then it was like he did it.
Like Regina George. That girl is the fuggliest skank bitch I've ever met. Dylan. Blanche tells Elvira not to worry. She's selling the house, wants her to move in with her, and once she speaks to the doctor, she'll have Jane committed. But when she goes to make the call, she finds Blanche has left the phone downstairs off the hook, making it impossible for Blanche to call. Jane really is a demon of a woman. But Jane knows everything that goes on in the house and knew that Blanche has been making deals to sell the house. So the two get in an argument and Jane takes away Blanche's pet bird, but also her phone so she can't make any calls behind her back anymore. Jane will make sure that Blanche is never going to sell this house, and she ain't ever gonna leave it either. I like that. First of all, I can't wait to do the live show because in costume, I feel like I'm just going to talk like that the whole show. But also, I do like that Bette Davis as Jane is also kind of, and maybe it's just when I do it, maybe she doesn't sound like it, is like the guy from that movie in Home Alone.
Yes.
Little Mo with the gimpy leg, like that.
Yeah. I do think we need to bring back the transatlantic accents.
Please. Even if just in movies. I do think the world would be a happier place if everyone on the street was talking like that.
Part of the reason I love John Mulaney's stand-up so much.
Yeah.
Why does that man sound like that? No one knows.
Just imagine all the hateful things these politicians say, but if they were talking like that, it would be easier to stomach. It's like soothing to the ear.
Yeah, we would have to rebrand the title of it because we know they're not going to claim transatlantic.
No, absolutely not.
Transatlantic, pick a bathroom. Let me see your balls. But imagine they say, transatlantic, let me see your balls.
Yeah, I know. I would like it. You're never going to leave here either.
Circumcision causes autism. Now I'm doing like Christopher Walken.
Well, he kind of uses it, though. Blanche may be stuck in her room without anyone to talk to, but maybe it's for the best, because that means she doesn't have to watch Jane's one-woman show downstairs, where she gets wasted, put on her old bow, and performs her greatest hits, until she looks in the mirror and sees she's not baby anything anymore. Just an old hag.
This is me anytime I look in my rearview mirror in the car. I swear that car companies do something to those mirrors. That and getting your hair cut. You never look uglier than looking in the mirror with that little cape on, your hair wet. My word. Makes me scream, too.
Well, they want you to look bad so that when whatever they do to you, you look good.
True.
Even if it's coloring the back of your head with a Sharpie. I went to a pumpkin patch this week, and the one part was like the circus, and they had like circus mirrors, but it wasn't even. I think it was just tinfoil, and it made me so mad because they set it up for a photo opportunity. So then we all went in front of this thing to take a cute photo. You couldn't really see yourself. I wanted to look like the ghosts from Casper, like one fat, one long. Instead, I was just stinky. And she looks in the mirror and sees she's not baby anything anymore, just an old hag. An old hag that has to take care of her sister, and take care of her sister she does when she brings her lunch, her dead pet bird.
I do love that where there's a will, there's a way, but the way is not to completion. I love that she gets an idea, much like me. Oh, I talked about this on a Patreon episode recently. I'm building a beautiful butterfly wildflower garden in my backyard, and much like many projects I start in my home, I've started it with a lot of gusto, and then it tapers off, and then I'm probably just going to have a pile of lumber sitting back there until I get that next burst of energy. And I like that Baby Jane is the same. She had the idea to serve her sister her beloved pet. She murdered the bird, but didn't bother to like pluck it or cook it or prepare it. It was really just presenting her with the dead carcass of the bird.
No, I think that's better because, I mean, I'm sure you would know it's your bird, but like to see it plucked and stuff and cooked, you could trick yourself and not think it's that bird.
But imagine this.
Yeah.
Imagine you're presented a small chicken, a chicken salad with little pieces of chicken sprinkled on top. And then after you've watched your sister ingest that bird, then you slide her a photo. And that photo with her forged signature is your bird being prepared for that chicken.
Okay, I do like that better.
See, now this is why the world is a better place, because I had a brother growing up and not a sister. Because could you imagine my personality if I had had the Marine boot camp that is having a sister?
Yeah, that would be tough. I love movies where people eat stuff and then they like realize their friend that is missing is who they just ate. I've only seen it like twice, but twice is more than enough.
If you were stranded, could you go Donner Party? Which, by the way, I've been reading up on the Donner Party, and they were so maliciously, like, the reputation of the Donner Party is so horrific because basically they were just traumatized people that did what they had to do to survive, and then they got back into society and everyone was like, ew.
Oh.
But all that being said, could you go Donner Party? Do you feel like you could, if you needed to, eat a friend?
I think it would have to be like Yellow Jackets, where one died naturally, and then we just ate them. I don't think I'd be able to do it if we had to go around a circle and pick who was next. But, like, here's our deal. Whoever dies first is going to be dinner. And I would have to do it where we cook them, too. Because I saw the Broadway musical by the Avett Brothers. And that is about these people on a boat. The boat capsizes or whatever. And then there's, like, 4 men in a canoe. And then they have to go Donner Party. But, like, not on fire. Just, like... That I couldn't do.
No, we're not on a raw food diet.
Certainly. No. I can barely eat sushi like that. I like the sushi with fried chicken in it.
Some would say not sushi, just fried chicken in a rice ball. But...
No, it's called like some kind of like LA or something. The LA roll.
Yeah, American people roll.
Blanche has had enough, so when Jane is out for a day on the town, Blanche calls to her neighbors for help, but their music is too damn loud. Chelsea, this song, they play it in the movie twice. They play it here and then at the end when she's dancing, but we never hear the words. But this song was used on the press tour. Betty Davis would go on different talk shows and sing this song, and it goes like this. Whatever happened to Baby Jane? She could dance, she could sing. It's so crazy. Yeah, I wish they would have had it in the thing. Imagine the closing credits.
Whatever happened to Baby Jane?
But like a Diana Ross version of it. The closing credits version.
Yeah, or even imagine in this scene, the instrumental music's playing, she's trying to call for help, and then Baby Jane comes out to start singing along to it, and that's what made it too loud for Blanche to call for help.
That's good. That's good. So she writes a letter and throws it out the window, begging them to call the doctor. Unfortunately, Jane gets home just in time to find the note and scoops it up. And if this was like made now, I feel like Jane would have a ring cam on the house, and that's how she knows to come home, because she is home in time to catch Blanche the entire movie.
She must have bells on the doors, because this is very reminiscent of my mom catching me in the act every time I did something bad.
Every time Blanche tries to act up, Jane's coming through that door. And we see her like at the the bank and at a costume store and stuff. But I think that must have been right around the corner. She doesn't go anywhere. Or Blanche just takes too goddamn long.
I think that that's the problem. I think that at her core, Blanche is a goody-goody. So I think that, again, I'm going to talk a lot of shit about her survival instincts, but I feel like she is spending too much time hyping herself up to do the thing instead of being like, okay, I hear the car leaving the block. Yes. I know I have 45 minutes. I got to get to work. Because
she was hanging on that window for far too long. Like the end of Little Mermaid when Eric's on top of Ursula's crown when she gets stabbed in the titty. You know that part? But why are you're doing core work for no reason, just hanging on that iron window. Throw that paper outside right now.
Also, I'm sorry, did that car accident break this bitch's vocal cords?
That's what I don't know.
Was loud, but she's like Rose at the end of Titanic. We're talking a lot about Titanic. Go back and listen to our episode with Mommy Dearest. It was a 2-part event. It was a wonderful time. But she's like basically blowing on that whistle, help, help, like scream. Do something that's going to get her attention. But instead, she's just holding on and being like, help me.
I know.
Help me.
Or I hate to keep bringing it up that it's a wrought iron window pane.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling.
Yes. You have like a bracelet or something.
And you're white trash like us. Let's bang some pots and pans.
No, I fully agree. I don't know why she wasn't talking.
No.
Even that would have helped.
Oh my goodness. I think she's having a bad dream. She's still asleep. Poor thing.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to wake her up. But
no, you shouldn't. What if she's sleepwalking?
In Mall World. She bought a t-shirt. Now she's in Mall World.
Because the last time she was fed was her dead bird, Blanche can't bring herself to open the tray to see what's for dinner. So she goes to bed hungry, and the next morning she wonders where her breakfast is, until Jane tells her she can't have breakfast because she didn't eat her din-din, before eating some of the food to prove there's nothing wrong with it. Blanche is simply a neurotic, and to punish her, she takes the tray, making Blanche wait until lunch for food. At lunch, Blanche is given her tray of food, this time one of the rats from the cellar. And as she screams, Jane stands outside the door, cackling in delight, causing Blanche to just spin around in circles, sobbing.
I have both of these screen recorded for a reaction. And for the spinning around in circles, I put it at 2 times speed, because I think that's like a perfect hot take reaction of just, like, I love that is her response. Again, the survival instinct, not strong on this girl. Because her response is literally like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Susan Meyer. This was Susan in the wheelchair.
100%.
But I realized at this scene why I like this movie so much, because it is just 2 hours of psychological warfare.
But not in that slow build type of way that puts me on edge in current psychological thrillers, but in a way of like, this woman is showing her hand at every turn and cackling in delight as she pulls it off. Also, I had another discovery, Donnie, much like when we watched Mommy Dearest, when she said, you didn't eat your din-din, so you'll have to wait till lunchtime. I gasped, because guess who says that?
I know.
My mother.
Oh.
That's another one of my mother's vocal stems. And I realized something. I've learned something about her. This woman loves hagsploitation movies.
She does. Because Mommy Dearest was one.
Me watching the whole Mommy Dearest movie was just hearing my childhood spoken out loud and getting the origin story to the wacky things my mom sometimes yells.
No, that's crazy that your mom likes both of these movies enough to quote them. I mean, they are both quotable, but I thought you were talking about Joan Crawford did that to her daughter in the movie. She didn't let her not eat that food. She served it like the next 3 meals.
I wonder if she was inspired by this film.
She's like, you know what? That's a good idea. Also, Betty Davis, I've never read it, but Betty Davis's daughter has a book about how bad of a mother she was too. Wow. So these 2 old hags really have a lot in common. If only they would have bonded.
Yeah, if we can put aside our differences, I think at our core, humans are more alike than we think.
Now, I wouldn't do it with dead animals, but this is one of the times when I was like, I am Jane a little bit. Because obviously the showmanship and the going back to our best roles, like that is Donnie, of course, right?
Sure. This is a man who makes all of his coworkers watch our TGIF episodes on presumably the only TV in the break room.
It is the only TV in the break room. It might be the only TV in the building. But when she thought long and hard enough about the long game. She wanted her sister to starve herself to death. She couldn't kill her sister. You can be arrested for that. But she wanted her sister to starve herself to death. So someday she would give her dead animals. Some days she wouldn't give her meals at all. Some days she would give her meals, and you just had to know, is this a safe thing to eat or not? Mm-hmm. She got into the sister's head, and that is why I don't know if it's going to be The Traitors. I don't know if it's going to be Big Brother. I don't know if it'll be 99 to Beat. But whatever TV show I am cast on, I will win.
Ask, believe, receive, and so it is. Yeah, her cackling outside of that door is the voice notes that you send, not giving me any information about Big Brother, which is arguably worse, but you just sending me voice notes of you cackling, being like, I just thought of another competition for BB40. I'm like, cool. Could you give me any insight, or you're just going to cackle at me? Just serve me that rat.
Jane's been putting in work with her sister, but she's ready to be doing show business work again. So she hires Edwin Flagg, an accompanist, to help her put together songs for a revival of her act to bring to Vegas. Jane sings a full performance of her signature song, I've Written a Letter to Daddy, before hiring him at $100 a week, beginning next week, after she takes care of some family matters she has to attend to. And that is starving her sister to death, for those of you following along at home. And with that, Jane and her new accompanist head to dinner to celebrate this collaboration. And the other stuff about starving the sister is when I said, okay, that is how I'll win Big Brother. That is very much a part of me. But this is when I said, no, this is not a part of me. This is me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The wig, the bow that she plucks off the doll of herself. She still has the dress in her size. Because there was a time when I was like in college that I could fit into my little sister's dance costume. So like I would naturally wear them because they're like elastic. So like a 17-year-old twink can fit into like a 5-year-old's costume. It is what it is. That's science. But like you had this dress made to fit your adult body. And that's where I say I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, again, there is a certain level of self-awareness that she possesses where she has gone to a seamstress, presented the sample of what she once wore as a 6-year-old and said, make this fit me now, please.
Yeah. And that's what I like about people is when they're self-aware.
Dr. Bald calls all of the people in my inner circle, like the people that truly make it to that inner layer of like trust and my best friends. He calls it the land of misfit toys. So welcome aboard, Donnie, because you're there. Because I collect people who are batshit crazy. Like if you're boring.
Yeah, there's no need for you. Yeah,
I have no business being your friend, but I need you to know you're crazy.
What I really liked about Jane, and this is where I can connect too, the scene right before, she tried this already. She tried to dance in the same outfit, and just the scene before, she was like upset with how she looked, but now, fuck that mirror, because she is in it to win it. All she needed was a piano player.
Yeah, but you notice she learned a lesson. She dimmed the lights, and she didn't have any mirrors in that room.
Smart cookie.
She's like, what I look like is none of my business. As long as I don't know what I look like, I can imagine myself singing my letters to Daddy as a little tiny child.
It's so good. And all the songs, she had more songs than this. We've never heard them. But when the sheet music was lined up and half the songs were about Daddy, I'm like, please, get a life. Also, Edwin Flagg, not the flag part, but Edwin is the name of the guy I liked in high school. He was straight. He was the one that was on the football team and would like hit people with his dick in the locker room.
Sure. Shout out, Edwin.
Yeah, I also liked another straight boy named Rob. So recently someone sent me a picture of Rob and he looks awful. He peaked in high school. Yeah, he peaked in high school. And that's okay because he wasn't very nice. And I think he voted the wrong way, if you know what I mean. The right way, which is the wrong way. Someone sent me a picture of Rob. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, well, now that we're talking about Rob, let me see Edwin. And then a little time passed. I was at that movie that I fell asleep during. And I forgot that that was the prompt. Send me a picture of Edwin. So then when I opened the text and saw a picture of 3 men standing next to each other, I didn't know what I was looking at. I said, what is this? And then I focused and my eyes went to Edwin and I gasped. Thank God these men didn't decide to be my husband.
How completely shocking that the boy who in high school used to dick whack people perhaps didn't age well.
Why not? What about that means he would age poorly? That's cardio.
Woohoo! Well, I'm so happy for you that you dodged that bullet.
I did.
And Edwin and Rob, if you're listening, you look like shit.
Oh, God. With Jane gone, Blanche heads to Jane's room for chocolates, where she finds that her sister has been forging her signature on checks and has complete access to Blanche's money. The time to act is now. So Blanche wheels herself to the stairs and shimmies herself down the banister to the phone, where she calls the doctor for help. But Jane, yet again, gets home just in time to hear all of this and kicks her sister around before calling the doctor back and doing her Blanche impression to tell him his services won't be needed. With one loose end covered up, it's time to take care of another. Elvira shows up for work, and Jane tells her that Blanche is selling the house and she's fired because they won't be needing her anymore. Not trusting a word the old bat says, Elvira waits until Jane leaves and sneaks into the house, where she finds Blanche has been locked in her room. And because she can't find the key, she tries to take the door off the hinges when she sees Blanche's buzzer has been ripped out of the wall. But nobody moves fast enough for Jane, who arrives home to see it. Jane lets Elvira in Blanche's room to find her tied to the bed before hitting Elvira over the head with a hammer, killing her. Jane has officially lost the plot.
I guess, officially, yeah. But again, getting back to the victim blaming, what I'm here to do this episode. Blanche is not locked in her room until the second time that Elvira comes over. Like, when Elvira first comes over and is, like, given the check, Blanche is still upstairs, able to move around. You can hear the doorbell. Why are you not just wheeling yourself to the top of the stairs and being like, help, help, she's not feeding me. We know she loves that little buzzer she pushes. Just push that over and over again while Jane's like, oh, Blanche is sleeping, Blanche is sleeping. No, she's not. She's ringing that buzzer. I feel like she could have done anything to get anybody to notice that things were progressing in a concerning manner.
And I've never been locked in my room in a wheelchair before. So I don't know if your mind doesn't go there, but I feel like I would do my best to survive.
Yeah.
And she's just
not. At that
not.
point, she has been served her bird and a rat. She hasn't seen the light of day. Like, when you hear that doorbell ring, scoot yourself to the top of the stairs and say, help.
Yeah, but screaming's not her forte.
Help.
A few days later, the police check in with Jane because Elvira's cousin has reported her missing. Jane turns to her older sister for help, but all Blanche wants to do is talk about the accident, which sends Jane into another spiral. She just wants to talk about the nice things. Jane wants to go back to the last place she remembers being happy, the seashore, where they used to go as little girls. And when Edwin stops by for his money and sees Blanche tied to the bed and dying, he runs out of the house looking for help. Jane knows the time for her beach trip is now, so she drags her sister out of the bed and to the car. And this is the scene that was when Joan Crawford made herself heavier. But I hate that the country is the way it is, because South Carolina, Myrtle Beach to be specific, is really one of my favorite places. But now I just don't go anywhere that probably doesn't welcome me, you know?
Yeah. I think that it's on brand that you love Myrtle Beach. We know that you love a putt-putt course with fake rocks and bright blue water. But it's very reminiscent of this person that I have started following on TikTok, where I think he's in on the joke, but it's so hard to tell, which is my favorite kind of TikTok creator, of like, is this earnest or is this just so deadpan that you're pulling it off? But he's going to various places all over Maryland and he's being like, wow, look at the beauty. So like, he went to College Park, which is on Route 1, one of the ugliest places in America. And he's like, wow, I don't know if you guys have ever been here, but I'm here at the University of Maryland on Route 1. I feel like I'm in Europe. It's majestic. I feel like that's you touring the country. You're like, Myrtle Beach, wow. If only the country didn't hate me and I could be hate crimed at any moment. This is magic.
I do love Myrtle Beach. Not only do they have putt-putt courses, the restaurants are gimmicky. May I remind you that my favorite restaurant in Myrtle Beach is seafood buffet, but get this, the buffet table itself is shaped like a pirate ship. Then, are you familiar with the place I speak of?
Yeah, you MapQuest directions there one time, and there are mermaids in the lobby and something.
When you come in a little lake, mermaids.
Donnie, we need to plan a trip for you to come to Ocean City, Maryland with me. If Myrtle Beach is Vegas, this is like Atlantic City.
Okay, so find me two gimmicky restaurants before I sign off.
Sure. Throw a rock and you've got one.
But back to South Carolina, you swayed my brain. I also really like that they have shows there, too. Like, there's an impersonator show. I saw Tina Turner there. Not really her, but a woman dressed like her. But one of the background dancers looks just like Alyssa Milano.
Huh. Was it Ashley Darby?
As news of Blanche's kidnapping at Jane's hand makes its way to the radio, as well as the discovery of Elvira's body, Jane is enjoying her beach day with her dying sister. And as Blanche begins to pass, she has something to tell her sister. She was the one who was driving the night of the accident. Jane was too drunk to drive, and when it was time to open the gate, Blanche tried to crush her. But Jane saw the car coming and moved, sending Blanche into the gates and snapping her spine. Jane is devastated that all this time they could have been friends and decides to get ice cream for her sister. But when she heads back to bring her cone, the cops stop her, asking where Blanche is, which gathers a crowd around her. The largest crowd that's ever come to see her in many years. And so she dances.
This ending was incredible.
It is.
I mean, the acting, incredible too. I agree with Roger Ebert because you can see the moment in her eyes where she's looking around and she's like, it's happening. Yeah. I've got them again. And then she goes into performance mode with these 2 ice cream cones as she's going to her dehydrated dying sister.
And that's why the taglines had to tell you, make sure you stay until the end. You'll never see this twist coming.
That's what I was about to say. I'm mad about the tagline that you didn't actually read all over again because, that first scene of the movie, the fact that we only see the gas pedal going, we only see the feet, I, from the beginning, was like, okay, so something's amuck here. And certainly if I had read that tagline that basically spells it out for you, don't miss the first minute or else the twist at the end will not make sense.
But that's it. That's our movie.
Thank you, Donnie, for introducing me to this.
There's another Joan Crawford movie I want you to watch from 1964. So it was after this movie, but it's after a 20-year asylum stay for a double axe murder. Suspicion arises about Lucy Harbin's behavior as she returns to her daughter Carol, who is engaged to marry Michael Fields. Soon, heads begin to roll. Is Lucy repeating her past?
Love it.
It's so good. She is the opposite of Emma Stone for me. When she stopped doing romantic movies and started doing weird shit, that's when I really like my Joan.
Mm-hmm. Especially knowing what we know about her in real life.
Yeah.
Like she was really just channeling that dark-sided energy that was residing within. So, final thoughts. If we were to bring this movie to present day, who would you cast in the reboot, or what would the plot of a sequel be? I think that if we could be back in time, imagine the 2 of them in a jail cell doing a jailbreak and them just having to experience either probably asylum life more likely than not because it's back in the day and these women are on the path to a lobotomy. Zack Snyder would be just itching to get his hands on them. So imagine them in the asylum and them navigating every day where they are like, well, I'm not crazy here. And then finally figuring out ways to escape. I just want to see these 2 women do anything. A Simple Life reboot, them hitting the road for a road trip.
I know.
I need these 2 specific characters back on the road.
I wish Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte was made.
I know.
But alas.
Alas.
You said it has to be these 2 again. I don't think that's the case. I want you to picture modern day, which means the Baby Jane era was the early 60s. So then we have to find someone who was born in the late 50s. And that is Betty Applewhite and Angela Bassett. And I think that Betty Applewhite was a child star like Michael Jackson in the 60s. And now she's Baby Jane and Angela Bassett is the one in the wheelchair. Because imagine, crying as she spins around in that chair.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, you've sold me. Wow. What aged well and what aged like Blockbuster?
Speaking of Elvira, I think the term they use, and it's not a slur, but I think the way they referred to this woman of color is the only thing I heard that was inappropriate the whole movie.
Yeah, this movie ages shockingly well.
Yeah.
I feel like the commentary about aging and child stars and the infantilization of women and the commodification of youth, all of it. And then the meta element of the fact that it's a movie about women being discarded as they age by casting 2 women who have been discarded by Hollywood as they age. Incredible. I love the psycho biddy genre.
So next week, let's see if you are adding to the list of things I hate this year or if I'll like it. We're covering The Running Man.
The original, the Arnold Schwarzenegger version, because they are coming out with a Running Man soon.
Which, it doesn't star this guy, but the guy from All American is in it. So I can't wait. I will be seeing the new one. I looked up the cast of the original, Chelsea. Well, I looked up to see how long the original was to see what I have in store next week. And the woman in it, do you know who she is?
Not off the top of my head.
No, Peking Carlos. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. Can't wait.
So there are some happy things going into next week. So we'll be back next week.
Oh, God. Is that what it's from? Oh, no, that's Terminator.
Terminator.
Okay. All right. Talk to you later. Love you like a sister. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to I Am the Cute One. If you want more, head to patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne for uncut, unedited, and unhinged video and audio footage of current episodes, as well as even more bonus content.
And if you like what you heard, please be sure to leave a 5-star rating and subscribe to our show. And to help us grow this community of chaotic cuties, share an episode with a friend you think would pass the vibe check.
And to see the madness, check out our YouTube channel, where video footage from all current episodes are posted weekly.
You can follow me at Real Donnywood on Instagram and all other social media platforms.
And if you want more of my personal brand of chaos, check me out at Oh No Chels.
Talk to you later. Love you like a sister.